After a 3-game series sweep, the New York Yankees are gone with the win. The Braves are back in National League Eastern play tonight at home as they take on the Miami Marlins, a club against which they have feasted so far in 2015. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome back to the ballpark. Let's hope the Marlins are just the tonic for the Atlanta Braves ball club, a club that's really reeling in the month of August, but a curveball thrown by Freddie Gonzalez. Mike Foltynewicz came down with a virus, so a surprise starter gets the ball in Game 1 tonight.
And that will be Shelby Miller, and because of the off day last Thursday, everybody got an extra day of rest, so Shelby will be actually working on a normal turn. It's just that he didn't know he was going to pitch till he came to the ballpark. This is some action from his last time out here at home, and if you'll notice, driving that left shoulder to where he wanted the ball to go, just like John Smoltz talked about when he visited with those guys down in the bullpen just a couple of weeks ago. So for Shelby Miller, his last 5 home starts, you know he's been on a trek of 18 starts without a win, so that's no surprise. But the last win he had came against the Miami Marlins down in Miami, so maybe they're just the tonic for him tonight.
And here's hoping the South will rise again for Shelby Miller, who tries to pick up a win against Chris Narveson, a left-hander pitching for Miami tonight. When we come back, it's Game 1 between the Braves and the Miami Marlins. Mr. Consistency is Nick Markakis. You might recall he drove home the season's first run for the Braves. We'll talk about that right after this.
Right stuff, low price, every day.
Beautiful blue skies up over Turner Field as the Marlins are in town to start a 3-game set. Hey everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth, and if there has been one constant in this tumultuous season for the Braves, I think you could point to right field and Nick Markakis. This guy went 2 for 4 against the Yankees yesterday. That extended an 11-game hitting streak. He leads the team in on-base percentage and average, and those numbers get even better when he's facing the fish. That's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. You see Nick's numbers against the Marlins this season: .370 average, .412 on base percentage, and when he's hitting, the Braves are winning 10-2 in games he's played against the Marlins this season. So hopefully that will bode well tonight. You just heard Chip and Joe tell you that there was a scratch to the starter. No Mike Foltynewicz. Shelby Miller is going to be on the mound for the Braves. We also just got word that Andrelton Simmons is a late scratch for tonight. No reason yet given as to why, but Pedro Ciriaco will get out there. He will also take Andrelton's spot and bat second in the lineup. So a lot of changes on the way tonight. Let's hope some things can also change for Shelby Miller, who needs some good luck to snap that 18-game winless streak. Shelby will be taking the mound soon as the Braves get ready to get things started against the Marlins.
Uverse. Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Pretty night in Atlanta. It's the Braves and Marlins, game one of our set. The Braves a game and a half ahead of the Marlins for third place in the National League's Eastern Division. And as we told you a moment ago, a virus has invaded the body of Mike Foltynewicz. He can't go tonight. Shelby Miller will pitch for the Braves. And it's been 18 long starts between victories for the hard-throwing Braves right-hander.
But take a look at this. This season against the Marlins, already 4 starts, including that great game back on May 17th when he was within an out of a no-hitter. 2-1, a 1.13 ERA against Miami this year. That's 24 innings pitched and only 3 earned runs. So his 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, Gomer Pyle. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You're pitching today. So maybe that's the tonic. He won't have worried about his start tomorrow. He'll just show up and blow these guys away because look who's here. Guys, you've faced 4 times this year already. The 5th start about to come about against the Marlins.
Dave Baker almost did a Sergeant Carter on you. I'd be very careful if I were you as we look at the Marlins lineup presented by their interim manager, Dan Jennings. Got to worry about D. Gordon, a terrific leadoff man who can really fly on the base paths. Ichiro hits second. Our old pal Martin Prado third. Bohr's the man that broke up Shelby Miller's no-hit bid down in Miami. Dietrich Gillespie, Real Muto, Echeverria 8th. And Chris Narveson is the pitcher and batting 9th. Different look for the Atlanta defensive lineup, brought to you by CPI Securities. We just told you, Jen just mentioned Andrelton Simmons, a very late scratch. He was taken out of the lineup literally 4 minutes ago. So Pedro Ciriaco gets the start at shortstop. Gomes in left against the lefty. Bourne in center. Nothing wrong with Maben, just an extra day off for him. Markakis in right for the Braves outfield. Freeman and Peterson on the right side of the infield. And Christian Bethancourt is once again behind the plate.
That's why it's always good to do your lineup in pencil.
Right? Dave just said Pete would be freaked out.
Oh, yeah, Pete would. I'm sorry, he would be. He'd go through 2 big pins tonight. Wish he was here to do it.
You bet. As D. Gordon gets ready to go for the Marlins, hitting .332, a couple of homers, and 35 knocked in. He's really worn out Braves pitching this year. And Miller's first of the night is up and away, and we are underway. And that's skied foul and out of play by Gordon. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gordon has 18 hits and 56 at bats against the Braves this year. He's knocked in 11 runs. For some reason, the Dodgers didn't want to keep D. Gordon. Bouncing ball to second. Jace Peterson's got it. Gordon is an easy out. We're underway. They traded all the control of D. Gordon for Andrew Haney, who was then shipped to the Angels, and Howie Kendrick went to Los Angeles. He got hurt, and then they had to trade for Chase Utley. So the Marlins very happy with the man leading off their lineup, D. Gordon.
And as well as he's hit Shelby Miller too, 7 for 19 in his career. And all of a sudden he comes in limping a little bit.
That's the last thing the Marlins need. The ball club has been racked by injuries all summer long, most notably Giancarlo Stanton. We understand he's getting closer and closer to a return for Miami. Ichiro takes high, and we're even. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Last start for Miller against Colorado, pitched into the 7th inning, gave up 4 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and got beat 6-3.
And throughout his 18-game run of disappointment for the Braves, I think that was the most disappointing game for him. He had a 3-0 lead in the 7th and couldn't hold it against Colorado. And I would venture a guess in those 18 games he's maybe had a lead in 3 of them. So hopefully tonight's the night for him. Joe mentioned he's on regular rest. And Ichiro sprays one to the left side. Johnny Gomes near the line in foul ground makes the play, and Ichiro's the 2nd out. Martin Prado at 272. Martin's had a very consistent offensive year for the Fish. He's reached base in 25 of his last 26 games. Siriaco at short, loads up from the outfield grass, and Prado beat the Rap at first. Infield hit for Martin Prado.
Took Pedro too long to plant and load up. They're checking to see if this is appeal worthy, but too many steps there to get his feet under him. And there's no question he was safe.
So that takes care of the no-hit bid for Shelby Miller. Something Justin Bohr knows a thing or two about. This big burly first baseman, after 8 2/3 innings of hitless ball, Bohr came on in the 9th inning as a pinch hitter and ripped a single against Shelby. It was on May the 17th. That was one of 2 hits that Miller allowed as the Braves beat Henderson Alvarez down in Miami. popped up. Bethancourt behind the plate. Looks to have plenty of room. He does. And that'll retire the side. Miller gets the Marlins with relative ease and needed just 12 pitches for his first 3 outs. Hit nothing else to the Marlins. Now he hopes the Atlanta offense can go to work against Chris Narveson. The offense led by Nick Markakis atop the Academy Sports starting 9. Simmons scratched, Siriaco in at short. Freeman, Gomes, Garcia at third base. Michael Bourne gets the start in center, batting 8th. He's had some good luck against Narveson. Miller 9th, and Chris a find for the Fish because their starting rotations had its share of injury problems too.
He's been around, 33 years old, 6'3", 185. The Braves first saw him in Milwaukee. These are his numbers career-wise against the Braves. 4 games. Not bad numbers. Spent last year in Japan where he was 4-11 with a 4.5 ERA. This is his 8th game and only his 2nd start with the Fish after getting called up from New Orleans.
Ball 1 to Nick Markakis, who's the hottest of hitters for the Braves. He's got an 11-game hitting streak.
And that's about where Narveson sits, somewhere in the 88 to 89 range, maybe a foreseen 90 once in a while. Sinker, curveball, changeup.
One of the areas where the season really got untracked quickly for the Marlins was with regards to their pitching staff. They knew they were going to get Jose Fernandez back at some point this year, and they did. And when he was healthy, he was very, very good, winning 4 decisions in 8 starts. But they were thought to have a thin rotation even with Jose Fernandez coming back, and that proved to be exactly the case. Henderson Alvarez out with shoulder surgery. David Phelps has gone on the disabled list. Markakis drives one towards center, but that's going to be playable for Cole Gillespie, who has it. There's the first out. Jared Cosart's missed a ton of time with inner ear problems, vertigo. They don't know when he's going to come back. So, Joe, as you look at the Fish, young offense, but 3 starting pitchers that they were counting on heavily, all unable to pitch right now.
And that's been pretty much the story of their season, as you said. Those guys all hurt, not to mention Stanton. It's been kind of a lost season for them.
A season that began with a lot of promise. Remember, the Marlins were a very fashionable pick to compete for a wild card, if not the division this year.
I thought they would be where the Mets are.
Really?
Yes, I did. I thought they would be the team that was battling hardest with the Nationals for the division title. But as we've said, the injuries took their toll.
Fly ball hit toward left. That's playable for Dietrich. He makes the catch. And there's the second out. Here's where the Marlins rank as far as pitching is concerned in the National League. Again, they've gotten a boost from Fernandez. Jose pitched great, 4-0 record. But really, middle of the pack in just about every other category.
Yeah, and they've made some moves just like the Braves. They've shuffled a lot of people in their bullpen.
Fouled away by Freddie Freeman, strike one. And after Shelby Miller beat Miami on May 17th, Mike Redmond inexplicably was relieved of his duties as the Marlins manager.
Yeah, that surprised everybody.
Dan Jennings came out of the GM's office to manage the ball club. And no one knows whether Jennings will be back as the skipper next season or if he'll head back upstairs. 2 balls and a strike for Freddie. Bases empty, and he didn't mean to. It's now 2-2. Freddie has 5 hits in his last 20 at bats, 50 RBIs for the season. And he's called out on strikes. A late strike 3 call by DJ Rayburn. And Freddie Freeman, in disbelief, is rung up. 3 up, 3 down to the Braves first. No score after 1 at Turner Field. Gillespie and JT Real Muto are coming up for the Marlins. Without Giancarlo Stanton, that's a big hole in their lineup, as well as Marcell Ozuna, who had been exiled to AAA for a long time.
Not a whole lot ahead of the Braves in terms of runs per game and home runs, and near the bottom on base percentage as well. So the fact that they've got a top 6 average, it hasn't parlayed into runs for them.
Derek Dietrich is the batter. Rare in today's game that you see a club in any league, and certainly the National League, almost have as many stolen bases as home runs. And that's what the Marlins have. 94 steals, 96 homers. One ball, 1 strike for Dietrich. And he was a little late.
This guy can hit. They're trying to find a position for him. He's a second baseman by nature, but they're just trying to get his bat in the lineup somehow because he can swing it.
Former Tampa Bay Ray came over in the deal for Yunel Escobar. Pop fly. Mondona's out. Foul ground. Room on the warning track. Dietrich pops out. One away. And Cole Gillespie is coming up. Cole Gillespie was signed as a minor league free agent before the season. Spent some time with the Diamondbacks, Giants, Cubs, Mariners, and Blue Jays out of Oregon State. And he's playing because Christian Yelich isn't 100%.
He's got a sore knee that they're treating with kid gloves. This guy doesn't want August to end. He's hit .339 in the month of August. Wow.
Drill deep left. Gomes will watch that one sail out of here. Cole Gillespie has hit his second home run. Second Miami hit. That one left the ballpark. And the Marlins jump in front.
You actually got
Hanging breaking ball. Yikes. See, the target was down and away, and that hung up and in. He's now 5 for 10 against the Braves this year with a homer. Gillespie.
JT Realmuto took over when Jared Saltalamacchia faltered behind the plate. Saltalamacchia was released, later gobbled up by the Diamondbacks. And Realmuto's been the everyday guy. Back where it came from and into center field. So back-to-back hits for Miami with one out. That brings up Adeiny Hechavarria.
Fastball, but the way that Shelby follows through and falls off to the first base side, he's got his back turned to home plate practically by the time he follows through, so no chance to try to knock that down.
As a visiting player, Adeiny Hechavarria certainly has made himself feel at home in Atlanta. He's got a 7-game hit streak in this ballpark. And this one a flare to right that Markakis got too near the line and in fair territory made the play. Nice running catch to retire Hechavarria on the first pitch. Back to first is Realmuto, 2 outs.
You know, maybe it's just my imagination, but here we are about to go into September, and Nick looks like he's stronger now than when we started the season. Just from playing every day, usually you get worn down, especially in August. But he's moving well. He's covering a lot of ground in the outfield. And watching him take batting practice today, I've not seen him all year long drive as many balls into the seats as I saw today in BP.
Chris Narvison's the Marlins pitcher and is very late. Well, you'll recall opening day, it was an open question as to whether or not Nick Markakis was going to be in the lineup. He was working very, very hard to get ready, and thankfully he was ready. He drove in the first run of the season for the Braves down at Marlins Park. That was in the first inning. Late, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cole Gillespie homer, the first run of the night. Now Miller's gone 3-2 to the pitcher.
Yeah, and last 2 pitches not anywhere near.
goes. Fly ball left. Gomes retreats and has plenty of room. He's got it, and that'll retire the side. A run on 2 hits. Cole Gillespie rattles the seats in left with his second homer. And the Marlins have scored first. Look at the Marlins defensive lineup in game 1 of the series, presented by CPI Security. Slick middle infield with Echeverria and D. Gordon. They're very excited about that duo.
And none of the 3 outfielders were in the starting lineup for these guys. They had one of the best starting lineups among outfielders in all of baseball, with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. And of course, all 3 of those guys not in the lineup tonight. Ozuna's back with the club. He got called back up from the minor leagues, but not in the lineup tonight. The Marlins and Braves, from a fielding percentage standpoint, have exactly the same fielding percentage. They're tied for 5th in the National League. The Marlins have made 67 errors, the Braves 69, but because of chances, the Braves are still tied with them. They've had more chances.
So Narveson gets a little extra time. He was the final out of the 2nd inning. Johnny Gomes, Adonis Garcia, and Jace Peterson are coming up for the Braves. We'll have new faces in the clubhouse tomorrow, September 1. Rosters can expand. It was mentioned to us week and a half ago that the Braves aren't anticipating a great number of September call-ups, but there will be a handful of players here tomorrow.
Well, they need some help in the bullpen. They got to get some relief for the relief pitchers because they are worn out.
Well, here's one of those relievers, Johnny Gomes. Pitched an inning, of course, against the Yankees. Batting cleanup tonight. One ball, no strikes.
Standing by the cage while he's taking batting practice, he said and mentioned to those around me, including Braves chairman Terry McGuirk, that the ball makes a sound off his bat during batting practice. It's different than everybody else's. It's more solid. It's louder. And while everybody else can hit some line drives and long balls and BP, so can Johnny on a consistent basis. There's the chairman.
Fouled away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm glad Johnny's still here, but I'm frankly surprised he's still here. With what he could offer a contending club. Fly ball towards center. And it should be easy for Gillespie, and it is. One man down. Teams can still make trades. We are past the non-waiver deadline, but a player has to be on another club's roster by midnight tonight. Otherwise, that player is not eligible for postseason play. Four up, four down for Narveson. And Adonis Garcia takes a strike. It is thought that Hector Olivera will be one of the names called up for the Braves. And if he is, that leads you to ask, well, where's Adonis Garcia going to play? How will he get at bats in September? Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We were told Adonis was caught taking ground balls at second base by the Braves today. That might be an option.
Especially with this rash of lefties they're going to see.
That's into the club level foul. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Of all the guys in the lineup against the Yankees, the Braves had some good offense. I asked Adonis if he enjoyed his work against the Yankees, and a big grin came across his face and said, "Oh yeah, I did." And I said, "Well, good for you." And he said, "Thank you," and just grinning like crazy.
You always want to do well against the club that let you go, and Garcia did just that. He had 6 hits, including a home run. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just missed a corner. 2-2.
It looked like the pitch he called a 3rd strike on Freddie.
Echeverria at short. Loads up. And gets his man. There's the second out.
That's what you've got to anticipate tonight from Narveson. The guy's given up 5 homers in 15 innings coming into this start. He's a soft thrower, and I'm not saying that disrespectfully, because he did throw 1 to 90 in that at bat to Garcia, but just don't look for a lot, especially early in the count. If you need to move up in the box, move up in the box. Challenge him a little bit to throw that high 80s fastball.
Strike 1 to Jace Peterson. Didn't realize it until I looked more closely at the team stats. That one's hitting the air to center. Jace Peterson leads the club in strikeouts. Made contact that time, but no luck. 6 up, 6 down for Narveson, who leads by a run.
About Adonis Garcia, where he might wind up if and when Hector Olivera does get called up. And there he is, taking some ground balls, as Chip mentioned. That was earlier today at second base. And Freddie Gonzalez was asked about that before the game and said basically what you were saying, Chip, that as well as Adonis has been hitting, they want to find a way to keep his bat in the lineup. And Freddie said that he had a scout tell him they knew that Adonis could play third. He's played a little outfield, and the scout said, you know, he has played some second base, so they gave him a chance out there just to kind of see how he could do. Freddie said he did okay, but he told him this is a good thing. We're trying to find a way to keep you out there.
And if he hits, he'll play. Braves looking for offense anywhere they can find it. Have to be happy with what Garcia's given them in a very short period of time. Top of the order for the Marlins. D. Gordon leads off, takes the ball outside. 1-1 the count.
Keep an eye on Gordon if he puts the ball in play and how he's able to get down the first base line. Looked like he kind of limped into the dugout after his first inning out.
He was a terrific basketball player as a kid. Didn't start playing baseball in high school until his junior year. He's blossomed into one of the best leadoff men in the major leagues. Here are his ranks this year.
First in hits, first in triples, first in multi-hit games, and second in stolen bases. And oh, by the way, leading the league in hitting. Dodgers did not need him, as you said.
He was too inexpensive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. By the way, if you missed it last night, for the second time in a week and a half, the Dodgers were no hit. Mike Fiers got him in Houston. Jake Arrieta got him in Los Angeles for the Cubs. 2-2, who is fouled at the plate.
And the irony was the guys who made the last 3 outs in Houston were the same guys who struck out in the 9th inning last night. Turner, Rollins, and Utley.
What a great way for Arrieta to cap off August. He went 6-0 for the Cubs. Just a bit low.
Oh, mercy.
You know what Miller's saying.
PNC Bank, Fox Tracks, right at the bottom of the zone.
To second, Peterson to his right, and he gets Gordon, who got down the line in pretty good shape. Here's the heroics last night for Jake Arrieta.
Turner had already struck out. Got Rollins looking, through Utley some awesome breaking balls. Got him down and in.
That's the 6th no-hitter thrown in the big leagues this year, and the first by the Cubs since 2008. When Carlos Zambrano no-hit the Astros in Milwaukee. They had a tropical storm or a hurricane that caused problems in Houston. They had to relocate the game. Fly ball center off the bat of Ichiro. That should be easy for Bourne. 2 outs. I got to ask you, you know all about Clayton Kershaw. You know about Zach Greinke. Do you think Jake Arrieta is going to get as much Cy Young consideration as perhaps he should?
I would certainly hope so. He's bound to be the pitcher of the month for August, and the no-hitter will get everybody's attention. I wouldn't have Kershaw in the top 4 right now. I know he's having a great second half and had a good month, brilliant month, but there's too much damage done to his Cy Young chances early on, I think.
Cubs are back in Chicago, and they host the Reds. They'll get started in about 20 minutes or so tonight. Martin Prado, bases empty, 2 outs, 1-0 Marlins on a Gillespie homer. Prado, an infield hit, took a little too long for Siriaco to get rid of the baseball in the first inning. And a line drive to right is going to hang up for Markakis, who makes a basket shoe top catch. Nice play by Markakis to rob Martin Prado, and the Braves are down a run. Memory Bank presented by Bank of America.
4 years ago tonight, Chipper's 450th home run against the Nationals. Look at those faces. David Ross, Martin Prado, Brian McCann.
I loved it when you called Chipper back in the day the old gray mare.
That ball's mangled at deep center.
He could certainly do that as Christian Bethancourt leads things off for the Braves. 7, 8, 9 on the lineup card here in the third inning. 6 up, 6 down for Chris Narveson so far. And that's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you were with us yesterday and heard early on Phil Niekro talking about how there just aren't many pitchers these days in baseball. Everybody seems to be a thrower. Well, Narveson is a pitcher type. He's got to be pinpoint with his control. He's got to use his off-speed pitches in the right place. And he's got to work both sides of the plate. And if he can do that, do all those things, and he's going to be successful. He has a 27-19 big league record.
You know, 5 over 500 as a starter, undefeated in relief. And again to short, Echeverria. And Bohr dug it out. 1 man down. 7 straight outs recorded by Narveson. That'll bring up Michael Bourne, who's 5 for 10 head to head. Got the word on Andrelton Simmons a few moments ago. The reason he was taken out of the lineup, right ankle inflammation. That's why Siriaco is starting at shortstop. Hopefully Andrelton will be ready to go tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Swing and a miss by Bourne. Michael 5 for 48 in a Braves uniform. There's a base hit. First of the night for Atlanta. It comes with 1 out.
Fastball. Nice patience by Michael to stay back. Had a lot of the middle of the plate.
So Shelby will try to help himself.
It's not very often he fouls one off. He's been real good. 10 sacrifice bunts. That ties him with Tehran for the team lead.
Now it's 0-2.
Just let the barrel of the bat come back a little too far. His angle was off there. Just dumped it foul. Might still be bunting though. Martin Prado thinks he is.
Not close. 1 ball, 2 strikes. at first with the first Braves hit of the game. Marlins have the game's first run, a Cole Gillespie solo homer with 1 out in the second. And Miller strikes out. Second strikeout for Narveson. And we go back to the top and Nick Markakis.
Honestly, that's one of the. I bet it's the first time all year he hasn't gotten the bunt down.
Markakis fly to center to start the game for the Atlanta batsman. Strike one.
Narveson got called up from New Orleans despite an 0-3 record and a 5.19 ERA. Combined between there and here, he's walked 18 men in 41 innings coming into play.
Narveson broke in with Milwaukee. Since 2012, he has made 12 big league appearances. Foul back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Marlins signed him as a minor league free agent after last season's play. As Joe said, he's 33 years young. Actually drafted by the Cardinals. Fly ball foul. It's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, he had Bourne leading, but his pickoff throw was off target. To first, and Bohr right at the bag. Easy play. That takes care of the Braves, who settled for a Michael Bourne 1-out single. 1-0 Miami. We head to the 4th. Every Thursday home game is college night. The next one's coming up Thursday, September 10th, and it's Julio Teheran bobblehead night. Tickets are $20 each with $10 of added value included, and you get to sit in the new college section. Students get to run the bases after the game. Don't miss out on these special nights at Turner Field. Space is limited. Go to Braves.com/college now. Pretty night for a ball game. Down a run. Shelby Miller tries for his 19th attempt for win number 6. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's impossible. It just seems impossible with the way he's pitched. He's had some clinkers in there to be sure, but too many others that were outstanding.
During the 18-game run, Miller's 0-10. He's received 1.7 runs of support. He's got nothing offensively yet tonight. As Justin Bour fouls one away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bour's been swinging a hot bat. He's homered in the last 2 games for the Marlins. He's up to 14 of those on the season.
Drove in 3 runs yesterday.
And Joe, his good play made Michael Morse expendable. Remember, Morse was on the Marlins opening day roster at first base and got off to a terrible start. And he was later dispatched. And one of the reasons they signed Michael Morse was to protect Giancarlo Stanton in the lineup. Bour is going to be able to do that as a left-handed complement to the right-handed hitting Stanton next year or later this year.
Yeah, they say in the next week or so.
Didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A hamate fracture is what has sidelined Stanton, and it's taken a lot longer than he or the Marlins had hoped. But you can understand the concern over wrist injuries for a hitter of Giancarlo Stanton's caliber. Out of play by Bour again. A lot of pitches piling up in this at bat. Still 3-2. Pitch number 9, we're told, is coming for Justin Bour. And it's served into right. Markakis can't get there, and Bour earned that single. That was an excellent at bat.
Served is a good description. That ball quit rolling before it even got to Markakis. Clink. Okay, well, it was rolling slower anyway.
Point taken. Here's Dietrich. Dietrich was an infielder and got hurt in spring training, and a ball smashed into his face. And that one obviously affected him. So they've moved him to the outfield, trying to get him some at-bats, and the injury to Yelich has given him some playing time, and he's made the most of it. He's hit 10 home runs. No balls, 2 strikes.
Strong guy too, 6'1", 200 pounds. If he can adjust to playing the outfield and make himself very valuable as a utility guy, both infielder and outfielder, that enhances his chances of sticking around. But it's his bat. 10 homers, 23 driven in. And he's got the 10 homers in just a little over 170 at bats.
What I'd say to Dietrich is, well, if Chris Coughlin can do it, why can't you?
Yeah.
Right? Derek out of Georgia Tech. Skies that one out of play. Foul. We'll do it again.
Just looking at their team strikeout totals, and they don't have anyone in the 100 range, but that's because the guys who had the highest strikeout totals have all been hurt. Stanton had 95 when he got hurt in 74 games. Yelich 81 in his 95 games. Ozuna 88, and he spent a lot of time in AAA.
In the air towards center. Bourne drifts to his left and makes the catch. Dietrich hit it hard, but he's retired. One on and one out for Cole Gillespie.
Hanging curveball back in the second inning cost Shelby the one run he's allowed, and that was off the bat of Gillespie. Cleared the left field seats, cleared the left field fence by a good margin. It's taken him a lot of pitches to get one out this inning, so maybe he can get an early ground ball and get out of the inning. 15 pitches already.
Most of those went to the man at first, Justin Bour, who singled. There's the ground ball. Siriaco right at the bag. Easy turn. And the inning is over. Good call, Joe. Just what the doctor ordered. Miller gets Gillespie to double up. And Braves are up in the fourth, down a run.
Siriaco in for Andrelton Simmons, who's a late scratch with a right ankle problem. Another one who's out of the lineup tonight for the second straight game is Cameron Maybin, and had a chance to talk to him before the game. He said it's just been a couple of nagging things that have bothered him, and he said many times, I'm always ready. I'm ready to make an impact. I'm ready to go if they need me. But I think Freddie Gonzalez kind of talked him into it a little bit to say, hey, why don't you take a little time off, give yourself a break, let your body rest. But Freddie even said if the opportunity arises, he wouldn't hesitate to put him in the game tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. This is the time of year when a lot of players need to go see Dr. Feelgood. All the dings and the dents. hope nothing seriously wrong with Simmons, nothing seriously wrong with Cameron. But it is a challenge for Freddie Gonzalez now with what's turned out to be a very crowded outfield situation. You've got Swisher, who's shown he can play the outfield. Markakis is out there every single day. Bourne and Maben and Johnny Gomes. Talked about Adonis Garcia. He might be an option to play some outfield at some point.
And that guy plays every day.
Right.
This is game number 129 for him out of 131 for the team.
And ball four to Siriaco, folks, and that is news. That is the first time Pedro Siriaco has walked since 2013 when he was a member of the San Diego Padres.
Get in the ball.
I think Freddie Gonzalez is giving him some grief.
Yeah.
First walk since the 4th of July, 2013.
They should shoot off the Gas South fireworks like they do for a strikeout. I mean, that's noteworthy.
1 ball, no strikes, and fouled back and out of play.
Here's Freddie. Yeah, he's saying, "You want the baseball?"
Well, I think he might have just gotten it because Lieutenant Dan, the ball boy, picked up that foul ball off the screen. I think it's the one that was still in play. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Could it be the stars are aligning for Shelby Miller?
Yeah, very well could be. Rip toward left. Dietrich got there and handled a sinking line drive. That looked like a tough play.
Watching Freddie swing here, the one thing that I liked the most about the swing was the fact that he didn't dive in and tie himself up. Something we've been talking about over the last several days. That time he stayed back. He stayed a little more upright. Put a good swing on it.
So Freddie's 0 for 2, but that ball hit hard to left. And here's Johnny Gomes. He popped out to center. 1-0 Miami. We're in the 4th. And a strike. The Braves are going to run into a lot of left-handed pitching. They are 10-14 this year against left-handed starters. Narvison's got him 1 hit to this point.
Good take there by Johnny.
And split the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Gomes is down swinging. Third strikeout for Narveson. After the leadoff walk, Freeman lines out. Gomes strikes out. Now it's up to Garcia to keep the frame alive.
And that's how he has to pitch. He has to pitch with off-speed stuff when it's a hitter's count. Made a nice pitch there with a changeup at 83.
One ball, one strike. Runner goes. Pitch a ball. The throw to second almost hit Narveson, who was kneeling in front of the mound. And Siriaco steals second base.
It might have gotten there on the fly if it had. You know, just kind of skip off his back like a rock on water. Because that one was a trifle low from Real Muto. And he's done a good job of throwing at base stealers. Real Muto at 27%.
Two balls, two strikes. High hopper over the mound. Oh, nice play, Narveson, and the throw to first in time. He had to climb and then descend the slope of the mound to take care of that high hopper, and it takes care of the Braves in the fourth inning too.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
It's 1-0 after 4 in Atlanta tonight. Shelby Miller's given up a solo home run. That's the difference in the game as he faces the bottom of the fish order here in the top of the fifth inning. Real Muto, first pitch swing, and he grounds a single to left. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
And they were his first hits on this road trip for the Marlins. He'd been 0 for 7 on the trip. They like him a lot. That's why they decided that they would go ahead and trade Jared Saltalamacchia, actually release him and give Real Muto a chance.
Runner goes. Bethancourt's throw tails and ends up in center field. And Real Muto steals second, takes third on a throwing error. That was a problem for Christian in the early days of the season. A lot of his throws on stolen base attempts tailed to the outfield, just like this one.
Good pitch to throw on, too. Good release. I mean, quick release. Just off the mark.
Infield in for Echeverria, who takes another strike. Tale of 2 months for the Marlins shortstop. Hit .349 over the first 17 games of the month. He's got 17 hits in his last 33 since. And he's down on 3 pitches for a very big first out. Runner at third for Narveson now. Echeverria is Miller's first strikeout of the night.
Yeah, that's surprising. Narveson put the ball in play his first time up, hit a fly ball to left. Squeeze always a possibility, but managers usually do not like to squeeze with a left-handed batter. Too easy to pitch out.
And no sign of it on that first pitch. Swing and a miss.
Pretty good swing.
Narveson flied out to left back in the second. He'd happily take a similar result here. And that's off Bethancourt's mask. 0-2.
Again, pretty good swing. He's doing a good job of staying alive and trying to get that runner in.
Not close. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What a good idea to go up out of the zone.
That one cut on and missed. Second strikeout in a row for Shelby Miller.
Went upstairs again and worked.
So the Marlins had a man at third with nobody out. Now it's 2 outs, but D. Gordon's the hitter. Miller's gotten him to ground out to second in his first 2 at bats.
And always got to be aware of a possible bunt attempt. He could still drag bunt, try to get that run in. He's good at it. Talked about that the last time they were in town, and really all season long, about the influence of Brett Butler and learning from one of the best bunters of all time.
One ball, 1 strike.
There's the former Brave.
That one grazed a corner. And now Gordon and the Marlins down to their final strike.
Good backdoor pitch. I don't know if that was a cutter. I think it was a cutter to the outside corner. Good pitch.
Good try, but too high. 2-2.
He has been bringing it this inning. He's been sitting 94-95 the whole inning to record his first 2 strikeouts. Granted, one was against the pitcher, but the pitcher put up a good fight too.
Well, Shelby knows how big that run is 90 feet away. Already down 1-0. And he just struck out the side after the leadoff hit. Stolen base and error by Real Muto. Very impressive work by Shelby Miller. 1-0 your score. Thursday. Can you believe it?
Was that a slap at the NFL? Something about honest competition? I mean, I'm sure he's fired up about his first game for his alma mater. We're going from the NFL to college football and the younger players who might be motivated, and I don't know. That's the way that hit me.
Might have been. I know his brother didn't make friends with a reporter on the sideline during their preseason game yesterday or the day before.
Well, I tell you what, networks better learn. That's a bad place to interview coaches. That is not a good idea.
Coming off the field at halftime, heat of the battle.
No.
Game plan might not be working. Got to go fire up the troops for a big second half. And someone asked, how do you feel about that touchdown you gave up in the 2-minute drill?
Well, you guys are having a hard time stopping that team.
You think? Little tap back to the mound. Narveson will make the peg to first. And Jace Peterson's retired for out number 1. Bethancourt, the batter. He is 0 for 1 with a ground out to shortstop. And now a line drive to shortstop. 2 outs. And Michael Bourne is the batter. Michael picked up the first and only Braves hit of the night. That came in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Lots of other baseball to talk about tonight besides the Braves and the Marlins. Race is heating up as we get ready for September 1st tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a big series.
Critical one in St. Louis for the Nationals. They're playing the red hot Cardinals. And Washington has scored a 1st inning run. They lead St. Louis 1-0 at Busch Stadium. The Mets are home to the Phillies and they lead 1-0. That one's in the 5th at Citi Field.
The Giants at Dodgers later. Giants need to win that series. They don't need to sweep them, but they need to cut a game off that lead for LA.
Jake Peavy will pitch for the Giants. He's 14-3 in his career against the Dodgers.
That's impressive.
Gio Gonzalez and John Lackey are pitching in St. Louis. Jared Eichhoff and Bartolo Colon, the starters for the Phillies and Mets tonight. And Bourne takes a walk, and he's aboard with 2 out.
That's a frustrating walk for those guys because it clears the pitcher. Gives the Braves a chance to start with their leadoff man next inning unless Shelby can keep the inning going. Tell you watch Shelby take batting practice, the ball jumps off his bat, so maybe he needs to take matters into his own hands.
One ball, no strikes. Popped up back toward us and out of reach. And the count is now even at 1-1. The 18-game winless stretch is the longest ever by an all-star pitcher since Nolan Ryan, who had a stretch of 13 winless starts. Think about that. Nolan Ryan made the All-Star game, didn't win 13 consecutive starts. Shelby Miller, as an All-Star, didn't pitch in the game and hasn't won in 18 starts, and he's down a run tonight.
That's why I said earlier that's just impossible. The way he's pitched. I'm not saying he should have won all 18, but it's just impossible that he has been so unlucky.
Miller's made 17 quality starts this year. The Braves are only 10-16 in games in which he's pitched, despite his .262 earned run average. And so again, for those who don't value wins as an appropriate stat for a pitcher, Shelby Miller's Exhibit A for that. 5 wins, 11 losses, and a .262 earned run average. I'll fly back toward the radio booth and out of play. We'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's getting him timed. About ready to turn on one to left center. Got Bourne at first. He can score on a double.
Just missed. Full count.
And he's zeroed in on him. Laid off that close pitch. He's daring Narveson to throw him a fastball, which I don't expect him to do. Expect him to just throw him a get over breaking ball.
Bourne will be off to the races. There he goes. And Miller lines one toward left, but right at Dietrich. And that retires the side. No runs, no hits, a man left. We head to the 6th. Offense here tonight. Milestone game for Nick Swisher, who checks into the ball game to play left field. Moments ago, Johnny Gomes was given these reactions in the Braves dugout.
He was not taken out of the game for any injury. This time of year, the last day you can add a player to your roster before the midnight deadline, one has to assume Johnny Gomes is on his way somewhere else.
And I think you would agree with this, that if this is the last time we see Johnny Gomes in a Braves uniform, he left that locker room in a much better condition than when he came to Atlanta.
No doubt.
Ichiro leads off for the Marlins in the 6th. 3 straight strikeouts for Shelby Miller.
And it's up, if that is the case, I'm going to assume it is. It's up to guys like the first baseman, the shortstop, who's not in the game tonight, Simmons, the catcher Bethancourt. Those 3 young guys have got to learn from whatever they learned from Johnny Gomes and take it with them.
Swisher, perfectly positioned, takes care of Ichiro. 1 out.
Those young guys learning from somebody who knows what it takes to win, having been there before, and how to prepare and how to play hard every day.
I'll never forget what Johnny Gomes said at the Braves leadoff luncheon this year when he was asked by a fan, or maybe it was Don who was moderating the panel, what has been the young players' reaction to you and your leadership style, about how you believe the game should be played. I'll never forget Johnny's response. He said those young players don't have a choice, because if they don't play the game the right way, they're going to have to answer to me. Did Johnny Gomes play every day? No, but when he did play, he gave you everything he had. And in spring training, when he was interviewed for the first time, when many were talking about what was expected of the Braves team this year. As this one is knocked down by Miller. He scrambles and gets his man at first. Let's check and see if Shelby's all right. He points to the dugout and appears to be fine as a kick save and a beauty took care of Martin Prado for out number 2.
Christian was pointing to the dugout like he thought it hit Shelby in the knee. And it may have, but it looked like a glancing blow. Collected himself so as not to make a wild throw. Yeah, right on the inside of the left knee.
Yeah, Johnny said, you know, I can't come to spring training and talk to the Atlanta Braves and walk around this facility and see Bobby Cox and say, hey, we're just going to go out and try to be 500. His goal was to try to win every single game. Any way he could, anything he could do is what Johnny Gomes wanted to do. So if he's been moved, hope he picks up a ring. And we'll know more, I'm sure, after the ball game tonight as Bohr dribbles 1 foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Up the middle.
That looks familiar.
Yep. Bohr has Miller's number, doesn't he? Similar way he broke up the no-hitter. And he's got 2 more hits tonight.
Tried to turn it over a little bit. And it was down, but he was able to reach it. He's a big guy.
So with 2 outs, Shelby goes back to the stretch. And Derek Dietrich is the hitter. 0 for 2 is he tonight. That's down the left field line, slicing toward the stands and out of play, strike 1. Braves are 10-3 this year against the Marlins. One of 2 teams against which the Braves have a winning record this year. Milwaukee's the other one. Fly ball center. Can of corn for Michael Bourne. He'll retreat and he will catch it. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the order's coming up. Braves need a run for Shelby Miller, who's pitching a great game tonight. Playoff implications as the Rays take on the Yankees. That's followed by the Cardinals and the Pirates. Coverage starts at 12:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Checking the internet tonight. Ken Rosenthal is now reporting that Johnny Gomes is on his way to the Kansas City Royals. Obviously, we have not received confirmation of that from the Braves, but that's what Ken Rosenthal is reporting. So once confirmed, we'll confirm it for you. Nick Markakis goes to work for Atlanta in the 6th.
Cubs picked up Austin Jackson today from Seattle. I guess that was because Jorge Soler is on the disabled list and need a little extra help in the outfield.
Tricky hop, but D. Gordon stayed with it and got Markakis 1 out.
Meanwhile, the Braves only have 1 hit against Chris Narveson.
Hasn't started against the Braves in over 3 years. Here's Siriaco. Milestone night for him, his first base on balls in 2 years. He stole second in the 4th inning and was left stranded there. And fouled back. Strike 1. Earlier this year, you were talking about the old antiquated rule about how guys had to be traded and had to be in the city by midnight.
There was some rule that you had to be within radio contact of the tower in the city in which you were reporting, or to the team that you're reporting to if they were on the road. I mean, it got really crazy. There was the one that stood out the most, I think, was Freddie Lynn. I think he got traded. I want to say, did he go from the Angels to Detroit one year?
I'll look. I don't know.
That's the one that kind of is hitting me. And it was on a day just like this, and he had to be on the team, with the team, or within radio contact of the tower of the airport where the team was by midnight. That's how nutsy it was.
And that's commercial.
Where was it? Baltimore?
It's Baltimore.
Okay.
So that's commercial flights, paper tickets, no internet, no cell phones.
You went from Baltimore to Detroit. Okay, that's what it was.
So imagine the life of a traveling secretary when you have to get your player from point A to point B in those days with that crazy rule in effect.
Something tells me there was probably a private plane involved to expedite matters, but they were wise to adjust that.
Well, Kansas City is in great position over in the American League. They have run away and hid from Minnesota. They've got a 13-game lead. Broken bat, fly ball center. Siriaco has a bloop base hit. That's the second of the night for Atlanta.
Picked that right off the ground. Maple bat splintering.
Narveson hurt himself with that pitch. Well, might have a blister. Yep. Something's opened up on the pitching hand of Chris Narveson. And immediately, Chuck Hernandez points to the Miami bullpen for some relief help. So Narveson was pitching brilliantly. He's knocked out after 5 1/3 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. And Miami's in its bullpen trying to protect a 1-run lead.
Fox Sports South kicks off the college football season with number 16 Georgia Tech hosting Alcorn State. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with our ACC Kickoff 2015 pregame show live from Bobby Dodd Stadium. It's a Georgia Tech home opener. I'll be there with Tom Wormy and James Bates. That's Thursday at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports South and streaming on Fox Sports Go. So Braves fans, you can watch Braves baseball or you can watch another kind of Braves. The Alcorn State Braves come into town to take on Georgia Tech, a team that led the nation in rushing a year ago. Should be a lot of fun to see how Paul Johnson's team comes out and gets things started in 2015. But for now, Chip, with these Braves facing a new pitcher for the Marlins.
All right, Jen, thanks. And I wish Georgia Tech all the luck, except for one very important game later on this fall.
Some interstate rivalry.
That's exactly right.
I see. There's Narveson, knocked out with a blister. He's replaced by Kyle Barraclough. And I do love those. He's pitched great. In 10 games, he has a 114 batting average against him. You see an outstanding ERA. So 11 1/3 innings, only 4 hits allowed, but he has 6 walks. So you got to make this hard thrower put the ball over the plate.
He came over from the Cardinals for Steve Cishek. And the Barracloughs are here 3 at a time. In a 1-0 game. Freddie Freeman will greet him first. Barraclough's big league debut came against the Braves. Worked a scoreless 8th inning with a strikeout. Here on August 7th. Runner goes. Pitch a strike. Throw to second is also a strike. And the tag out. Wow. Siriaco is gunned out at second base. Echeverria with the swipe tag. Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves might want to challenge the call at second. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. It was a tag way up the body, right on the backside. He's out. Great camera work. Good call by Rob Drake.
So 2 outs. Bases are empty for Freeman. And he's down a strike. And that went all the way to the backstop. It's 1-1. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. And as we suspected, it was a blister that knocked Narveson from the game. And it was his left middle finger. And Freeman took a strike. Thought he earned ball 4. It's not the first time he's disagreed with DJ Rayburn.
No, he's been at odds with him since he was called out on strikes to end the first. PNC Bank Fox Tracks shows it shaved the outside corner.
So ball 4. Freeman's at first. And Nick Swisher will be the batter. If you're just joining us, Miami scored the game's only run on a 2nd inning home run from Cole Gillespie. Shelby Miller got the start tonight. Mike Fultonevich was scheduled to begin the game, but he was scratched due to viral symptoms. Now Nick Swisher came on in the 6th inning after Johnny Gomes left the game. It appears that Johnny Gomes has been traded to the Royals, so is reporting Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports. So first at bat of the night for Swisher. And he takes a strike. Nick's hitting .227 as a Brave. Nearly got hit. And Barraclough's been missing consistently inside of the left-hand hitters. A very wild pitch, and that puts the tying run at second base.
Well, like I said, he's not giving up many hits, but he is putting guys on base. That one a wild one.
One ball, one strike. And that caught a corner. Swisher not sure about that. It's 1-2. Barraclough played college baseball at St. Mary's College of California. Cardinals took him in the 7th round in 2012. Now he's with the Marlins. And he missed low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's pitching himself into a mess. 3-2.
Yeah, and the catcher Realmuto keeps calling that slider, and he hasn't thrown it for a strike yet. Maybe one backdoor breaking ball to Swisher out of the last 2 hitters, and that's about it.
That one off the plate. Back-to-back walks, and that brings up Garcia. Well, for the Marlins, this is an all too familiar refrain. They've had 35 blown leads this year. 35 games in which they've led and lost so far in 2015. And they have a slim 1-0 advantage here in the 6th with 2 on and 2 out. It's rolled foul past Bo Porter. Strike 1.
Nowhere near the good throwing arms in the outfield that the Marlins are used to with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. Ichiro Suzuki still with a good arm. The other 2 guys just average.
Popped him up. And Chavarria at shortstop is going to have plenty of room, and Barraclough is out of the mess. He walked a couple of men, but Atlanta cannot break through. 1-0 is your score. Today, USAA honors all of our service members at home and abroad. Gillespie's provided our Toyota Key play.
Hanging breaking ball and hit his second home run of the year. And with room to spare.
And that's headed for the seats. Foul, strike one. And that's really the buzzard's luck that Shelby Miller has had this year. He has not had the luxury of being able to make one mistake and really survive the game as far as the decision is concerned. One pitch, one run, and here we are in the seventh, and Miller's losing again. And it's journeyman Cole Gillespie who has provided the only run of the night. It's headed for the upper deck and out of play. It's still 0-2. Gillespie was originally drafted by the Brewers in 2006. Was later traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2009. Signed a minor league deal with the Giants for the 2013 season. Played for the Cubs that year. Was in Seattle, Toronto, and now here in Miami. And he'll have a seat. Miller struck him out. He's climbed the ladder a couple of times with great success tonight. That's 4 strikeouts tonight. A good start for his 7th inning. Here's JT Realmuto, the catcher. He's 2 for 2. Mets 3, Phillies nothing in the 7th. Bartolo Colon pitching, got another hit, by the way. That gives him 7 for the season. Cubs 1-0 over the Reds in the top of the 4th inning. Cubs have the Jake Arrieta no-hitter, and then they had the pajama party flight home last night.
I bet that was fun.
Washington 1-0 over the Cardinals. Gio Gonzalez, John Lackey in St. Louis. Tampa Bay is winning in Baltimore tonight 6-0. Rays on the cusp of an American League playoff spot.
Well, this is kind of a battle for 2 teams that are going to perhaps knock one or the other out of any contention. They're slipping, both of them.
The Rays are 4.5 back in the wild card. Baltimore's 5.5 back and 4 under 500. As Realmuto pops one up to right, that's playable for Markakis, and he's got it. 4 out, number 2. Cleveland 2, Toronto 2. That game's in the 7th inning of play. The Blue Jays with a 1.5 lead over the Yankees. Toronto, by the way, is 23-4 with Troy Tulowitzki in their starting lineup.
And he hadn't done much.
No.
He's hitting about 220.
But Encarnacion and Bautista and Price are
sure acting like they're happy to see him.
Yeah. And we get to see Toronto here in Atlanta. Braves played great against Toronto up at Rogers Center. He could have swept him. Let one get away. The final game of the series.
Yes.
So the Braves will try to wreck the Jays' run to a division title with that long playoff drought for the Jays still active.
That series is kind of like the one in Milwaukee, where the Braves season seemed to turn. On the verge of sweeping that series in Milwaukee before the All-Star break, and Carlos Gomez hit a 3-run homer in the 8th inning, helped win the game, and the Braves then went to Colorado and got swept, and things started changing.
The Braves at one point were 42-42. They're 12-34 since. 2-1 to Echeverria. is a former Blue Jay himself. Adonis charges, throws on the run, makes a good play. Nice inning for Shelby Miller. 1, 2, 3 and out go the Fish, and we're off to the 7th inning stretch. More tough luck for Shelby Miller. One swing of the bat, the difference in tonight's game.
Yeah, he's doing what he's been doing for the last 18 starts. Just scrambling, fighting, doing everything he possibly can to keep the Braves in the ball game, and hoping that the offense can come back and give him a lead.
So before Jace Peterson leads things off, let's take a look at our AT&T U-verse trivia question. D. Gordon's hitting .332 this season for the Marlins. Name the last Marlin to hit over .330 in a season.
Miguel Cabrera would be a good choice.
Juan Pierre, Luis Castillo,
Preston Wilson. I think Wilson was the guy who had a jillion RBIs.
He had 1 year that was just tremendous for the Marlins. So we'll think about that for a while. Now, there's no qualifiers to a minimum number of at-bats, so I wonder if it's a trick question with regards to that particular.
It's the only way they can get us.
Yeah. As Brian Morris takes over for the Marlins, and he's their third pitcher of the night.
And he is one of their setup guys, along with Mike Dunn. A.J. Ramos is now their closer. Morris came over from the Pirates and won about 20 games out of the bullpen last year.
For whatever reason, this guy is tough for the Braves to hit. 11 career games, a 2.08 career earned run average. And he's ahead of Peterson. Strike one. He missed about 3 weeks with a back strain. Has allowed just 8 runs in his last 27 1/3 innings, with 20 strikeouts over his last 28 appearances. So this game sets up for the Marlins just how they like it. We have Morris for the 7th, maybe even the 8th. And then we'll see. There's a start, a base hit for Jace Peterson.
Leave those breaking balls up, you're asking for trouble. Jace put a good swing on it, and the Braves off to a good start here in the 7th. They need a good inning.
There's a strike. for Bethancourt. Christian trying to bunt, and that's into the seats foul. It's 0-2.
Trying to get that guy in a scoring position to try to get a tying run around. Good cut. Was on that pitch, and Christian good at going up the middle and the other way. Just trying to see a few more pitches, fight him off, get something good he can handle. This guy throws hard.
Pride of Tullahoma, Tennessee, Brian Morris. One ball, two strikes. No swing on the appeal. 2-2. Bouncy ball to short. Echeverria stumbled. Perfect feed to Gordon and a double play. Talked about the slick middle infield defense of the Marlins, and that was a terrific catch and turn for the Twin killing.
Great play by Echeverria here. Had to turn his glove over real quick because the ball didn't come up as high as he thought it would, and then again delivered it from where he caught it and gave D. Gordon a good feed. That was a very nice play by a good shortstop.
So 2 are out for Michael Bourne. He has singled and walked. A.J. Brzezinski's grabbed a bat. If Bourne could reach, he'll pinch hit for Miller. One ball, two strikes. Squibb toward third. Martin's got it. Throw to first in time. And Morris gives up a leadoff hit. Nothing else. We head to the 8th. City. 2 more games left with the Marlins. Then we'll fly up to Washington for a 4-game date with the Nationals beginning Thursday evening. Freddie Gonzalez has made his way to the mound. Christian Yelich was announced as a pinch hitter, and Shelby Miller is going to get the big pat on the back. He did a great job again tonight. But once again, Atlanta's offense failed to support him. He gave up a solo home run. He'll leave trailing 1-0 as we get set to start the 8th inning.
Let's go places. And the Georgia Lottery.
Marlins 1, Braves nothing after 7 complete in Atlanta. Fans, now it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SouthDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by our friends at T-Mobile. Shelby Miller departs after 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 homer, which is the difference in the game. And he'll give way to Matt Marksberry.
Are you sure that's Matt? Whoa. New specs. There's the Pee Wee Herman look. And now a new look, Matt Marksberry. Hello.
Christian Yelich hits the first pitch out to short, and a low throw that Freeman scoops up. Nice play at first by Freddie Freeman to get Christian Yelich, who was unable to start tonight's ball game as he battles a sore knee.
Like he got down the line pretty well. That's a tough one, that long hop, not the short hop. Nice play by Freddie. But Marksberry looking sharp tonight. If he's throwing strikes and not walking guys, he's been very effective. He's walked somebody in each of his last 3 outings. He's taking on a whole new look.
Matt's done a good job against left-handed hitters this year. They're just 4 for 32 against him. It's a 125 average. It's the righties that have given Marksberry some problems. They're hitting him at a 385 clip.
Throws hard. He's around 93, 94. Work on that changeup to right-handers to keep them off his fastball. And throw strikes.
Shelby Miller on normal rest, pressed into duty tonight because Fultonevich was ill. Pitched great. And Marksberry gets the first 2 men he's assigned in the 8th inning. D. Gordon strikes out. He's 0 for 4, and that brings up Ichiro.
So this was an off-speed pitch, breaking ball, kind of a backup breaking ball. It worked out just fine. I'm telling you, progress.
So you didn't like the Charlie Sheen Wild Thing look on the left. You like the clean, aerodynamic, modern look of Marksberry on the right.
Let's just say that I don't think that was a good look for Marksberry. Might have been a good look for Eric Gagne.
Yeah. Popped up down the left field line.
Or Kent Colby. I just don't think it was the right look for Matt, and now he's got something working. Yeah.
Nine pitches, 6 strikes, and he's ahead of Ichiro, 1-2. Ichiro Suzuki, by the way, is 75 hits away from 3,000 in the major leagues. Two and two.
No doubt who that fan was for.
We understand that Marksberry got the new specs with a little help from his teammate. Peter Moylan apparently has a big Oakley connection.
Oh, okay.
And got Marksberry set up.
Good for Peter. Taking care of their own down there in the bullpen.
Ichiro took high, full count.
Don't walk him.
Bouncer foul at first. We've told the story a couple of times this year. The Marlins felt they would have a real competitive club this year and wanted to add a veteran piece to their club. They flew to Japan and made a personal pitch to lure Ichiro Suzuki to South Florida, and he was very touched by that. Quite obviously signed a deal and has gotten a lot more playing time than maybe he envisioned, as he just broke his bat with the injury to Giancarlo Stanton, with the injuries to Ozuna and Yelich. Ichiro's gotten a lot of playing time, and here are his ranks among active players in the big leagues.
A-Rod and Jose Reyes, the only guys in front of him in hits. He is, oh, I beg your pardon, he's first in stolen bases.
And needs 2 for 500. He's also over 10,000 plate appearances in his big league career. And he just took ball 4 and gently lays the bat down along the foul line and makes his way to first base. Alex Rodriguez and Adrian Beltre are the only other active players with 10,000 or more plate appearances in the big leagues.
These young guys in the Braves bullpen, Marksberry, McCurahan, Jake Brigham was sent out today, and Ryan Kelly was called up. Any of these guys that don't have that much experience, the key for them is how much they are able to develop their secondary pitches. They've all got good arms, but it's how they're able to throw pitches, like that instance right there with Ichiro, when you got ahead in the count and want to put him away and make a good pitch with it, or even 3-2, 2-0, and you need to make a good pitch with a secondary pitch. You got to be able to throw it for a strike, put it where you want it, and that's one of the things that has to develop for these guys, in my opinion, because they all throw hard.
That's something obviously we will follow as the calendar turns to September 1st tomorrow. 31 games left. As this one's hit high in the air toward right by Prado, and it's over the head of Markakis, and Ichiro's flying around the bases. He's going to come around, and he is going to score. The walk with 2 outs turns into a big second run for the Marlins. Martin Prado, a right-handed batter, which has been the bane of Marksbury, doubles home Ichiro, and it's 2-0 Marlins.
You said it, Chip, earlier. Now the right-handers have been wearing him out. High fastball. Martin, a good high fastball hitter. I didn't think when he first hit this that it was going to carry that far. But obviously a big run at this stage of the game after the walk.
Braves bullpen in August, 44 walks now in 87 innings with 102 hits. So that's a very high whip for the relief corps, which oftentimes has come in with men on base already. That's when the game has gotten out of hand. Braves relief ERA this month over 6.5. Can't give him any more. It's 2-0 in the 8th for Justin Bour, a lefty, and he overthrew that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bour almost came out of his shoes trying to nail that pitch. And it's 1-2. Ichiro scores a second Marlins run. The pitch ripped toward right. Markakis on the run. Not going to get that. That's over his head. Prado scores. Bour at second. Back-to-back doubles. It's 3-0 Miami.
Well, he had a big swing at a pitch earlier in the count. This time he connected. That was a breaking ball that was up and out over the plate. And again, too far for Markakis to go to flag it down.
You know, that's the other frustrating part about these last 2 series for the Braves. Some of these young pitchers for Atlanta got the first 2 outs in the inning. Then the roof caves in. Happened to Williams Perez. It's happening to Marksbury tonight. Yelich grounded out. Gordon struck out. And then with 2 outs, boom, 2 runs come across. 2 balls, no strikes.
What bothers me the most, and we're all, you know, living with these growing pains and what have you, but for a guy like Shelby Miller, who's pitched a great ball game and he leaves trailing 1-0, now all of a sudden he's behind 3-0. They're not his runs, but it's 3-0, and for him to have a chance at a win, that's already gone. But the chance to take him off the hook becomes increasingly difficult, or he's going to take a loss after giving up 1 run. That's what bothers me.
And you know what bothers that man? But there aren't many options for Freddie Gonzalez in relief. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You could tell, though, the way Freddie, he didn't let Shelby walk off the mound right away. He talked to him. He patted him on the back 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
Before he let him go, appreciating what he did tonight.
And while it is normal rest, he wasn't expecting to pitch in this game. Miller was supposed to pitch here tomorrow night. And for him to come out and do what he did without as much time to prepare, or normally prepare, I guess, is Really outstanding. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's bounced into the first row of seats at the Braves dugout. Dietrich is still alive. "27 pitches for Mark Sperry so far. And he's gone 3-2. Now it's the lefties giving him trouble.
There was a game at Chicago when Matt came in and he pitched an inning and 2/3. And out of the 5 outs, he struck out 4 guys. I mean, it was very impressive. But he gave up a home run and took on a blown save as a result. It wasn't in the 9th inning, but it was charged as a blown save because it broke the tie. And he's made 22 pitches here after 2 were out. And that he was ahead in the count to Suzuki and wound up walking him, and then they started teeing off.
Ninth pitch of the at bat. Fly ball center. Bourne is there, and that retires the side. Mark Sperry threw a season high 31 pitches, most of them after 2 out. And that's when the Marlins struck for 2 more.
Of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
"3-0 Miami now. Braves up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's check our AT UVerse trivia question again tonight. D. Gordon's hitting .332 this year. Named the last Marlin with a .330 or better batting average in a season. And it's a full season.
Yeah.
Aloysius tells us downstairs.
I'm going to regret moving off of Cabrera, but I'm going to go with Jeff Conine.
Mr. Marlin? I want to say Pierre or Castillo, and I can't remember which one. Won the batting title. I'm going to say Juan Pierre because he had a zillion hits and a zillion walks. And it was, of course, neither one.
See, I wouldn't have picked him.
No.
I think that's fairly obvious. Even if I had known it was him, I wouldn't have picked him.
You would have picked him. Mike Dunn, former Brave, will face Cameron Maybin. By the way, Hanley Ramirez is starting to take ground balls at first base for the Boston Red Sox. He will probably be there next year.
Good for him. Mike Dunn, 58 games, 43 innings, 51 strikeouts. Another solid year as their 8th inning guy. 7th or 8th inning, depends on the batting order and who's up, lefties, righties.
Swing and a miss by Cameron Maybin. Dunn's always had a good fastball. And Cameron's the first out of the inning. One man down. Marlins are trying to shut out the Braves. How many times have they won a shutout this year? 9. Or, excuse me, 8. If they get tonight's victory in shutout fashion, that'll be number 9.
And if they win, they'd be 4-4 in this ballpark. Braves are undefeated in Miami.
Did you hear a talk down in Miami last week? They are finally talking about moving the fences in.
Oh, are they?
It's at least being discussed.
I thought you were going to say, did I hear that they're going to build a new stadium?
No, they've already done that. And they're not getting rid of the sculpture either, as far as I know. But they are talking about moving the fences in Miami, which I'm sure will make Giancarlo Stanton and company happy.
You know it.
But the disadvantage is, well, the other team can hit home runs there too.
Yeah, got to have good pitching, but especially in center field, they could shorten that up. That tall fence and 418 feet. Or you can leave that and just move the lines in a little bit.
One and two for Nick Markakis, who's 0 for 3. Remember, he started tonight with an 11-game hitting streak. It's on the line here in the Atlanta 8th. And did he go around? Joe West says no.
Thanks, Joe.
And he's hearing it from the Marlins dugout.
But good-naturedly, that's good.
Joe's got a great sense of humor. As Markakis awaits the 2-2 pitch. I don't know when his last country music CD came out. No. Have you heard it? No?
No.
Come on.
No.
Just sing an umpire.
Oh, I know. Cowboy Joe.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And to be the CD walking into Wrigley Field, the game was on WGN. He said, Chip, if you help me sell enough of these, I promise I'll retire.
Well,
obviously
you didn't sell it well enough.
Maybe we played a few of the cuts. And
I heard one time.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was something like, I'm guarding the third base line or something. But so I.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be many country music stations that play a song called "The Ballad of the Hanging Slider" or "Too Much Pine Tar."
No.
He's a trip. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And bounced foul in front of the Marlins dugout. Hey, there he is. Kick save and a beauty by Joe West at third base.
You know, Joe was a quarterback at Elon College.
Did not know that.
Yep. Look at that. See that pass? He was actually, that was probably intentional grounding, but but he was quarterback at Elon.
I'll be darned. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a great at bat by Nick, huh?
Yep, done it all year.
May have caught a break on that check swing, and he's making the best of it.
I agree with you. I think you made a great point. He does look stronger as the season's gone on. This is game number 129 for him. 151 hits. 370 on base. And chased a bad ball there for the second out of the inning. And Dunn has 2 strikeouts so far tonight. Base is empty for Pedro Ciriaco. Country superstar and Georgia native Sam Hunt performs after the game Thursday, October 1st. It's a free post-game concert brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. Get your tickets now at Braves.com/Sam Hunt.
So, you know, there's a country singer. That guy can belt it.
Big night for Ciriaco. He walked for the first time in 2 years. So has a 6th inning hit. He's 1 for 2 in the stolen base department in the game tonight. No Andrelton Simmons. Sore ankle sidelined him. Johnny Gomes apparently traded to the Royals mid-game. No official confirmation from the Braves, but that's what Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports is reporting. Atlanta getting a minor league infield prospect.
Can you imagine how weird it must have been for Pedro to realize that, oh, I get to go to first? I mean, literally walk to first. 2 years since he's been able to do that.
July 4th, 2013, and he was a San Diego Padre. Bouncing ball out of play, foul. Early in the season, the Braves were glad he wasn't walking because he was stinging the ball as a pinch hitter for Atlanta. One of the best pinch hitters on the club. And the most used by Freddie Gonzalez. 34 pinch hit bats with 5 RBIs. That's also most on the team. Just a bit outside, 1-2.
Curveball came out a little high.
Missed inside, 2-2. Mets have won tonight. They beat the Phillies 3-1. Cardinals are beating Washington by the same score, 3-1 in the 5th inning in St. Louis. Cubs 4, Reds 3. Back and forth affair. I'll bet the Cubs are hitting home runs again. They grew up, as Joe Madden said, on their just completed road trip with their games against the Giants and the Dodgers.
They're playing, they're young players. I told you at dinner that the Cubs young players are playing like they don't know they're young. They don't know they're supposed to be playing this well under these circumstances in Chicago, and they're doing a great job.
They've got a lot of games left with the Cardinals and the Pirates. Cardinals, an amazing story. If the Cardinals play 500 ball the rest of the way, they win 100 games.
Wow.
Their team record for wins is 106. And if they can get through this homestand that features the Nationals, the Pirates, and Cubs in good shape, the Cardinals will be in great position to have a record-setting winning year
and nail down home field advantage in the National League. And that's a threesome for a homestand. It's pretty tough.
3-2 pitch is fouled back out of play. There was a great story online today. Jeff Passan from Yahoo Sports evaluated all the remaining schedules for the potential playoff teams in the National League. The Mets only have 9 games left against winning teams. They lead the division. After those 9 winning teams, the winning percentage of all the other clubs they faced is 41%. Swing and a miss. Siriaco is down on strikes, and Dunn struck out the side. Off we go to the ninth. Marlins are shutting out the Braves tonight in Game 1.
And Zaxby's.
Beautiful night in Atlanta, where the Marlins lead the Braves 3-0. We head to inning number 9 tonight. As we promised you earlier this evening, we've selected our Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to #South Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Thanks, Jennifer, for the picture. Glad you came to the game.
So we're through 8. Peter Moylan will pitch the 9th. It's his 9th game since coming up from Gwinnett.
Faced a batter against the Yankees yesterday. Gave up a hit, and he eventually came around to score. That was in that 9-run inning in the 7th.
So more on that scheduling stuff I was talking about. There are some fascinating tidbits that I think are interesting to talk about. The Nationals, they also have 9 games left against winning team. And then after their next 10 games, they have 20 straight games against losing ball clubs. Washington does. Giants play the Dodgers. That's the only winning team they play the rest of the year. The Dodgers have to end the season with a marathon of 17 consecutive games without a day off.
That's odd.
Yep. So these races, as they start to tighten up, and they invariably do in September, there are some plots and subplots to follow. So we'll look forward to all of them. What should be an exciting September. And the Braves have a chance to wreck some seasons. They've got the Nationals twice. They've got the Mets twice. They've got Toronto. And Moylan got Gillespie to swing and miss on 3 pitches. Good start for Peter. 1 away in the 9th inning. And we understand, Jen, that there's some official word on the Johnny Gomes trade.
Yeah, the Braves just made it official with the announcement saying that he was traded to the Kansas City Royals in exchange for shortstop Luis Valenzuela, minor league shortstop. So he will be assigned to Single-A Rome, and that is all I've got for you now. But that's just confirming what you guys suspected with Gomes.
Thank you, Jen. So we wish Johnny well. That was released by the Braves PR department a few moments ago. And a hat tip to Ken Rosenthal. He reported it first and had it right. Here's Real Muto. 1 ball, no strikes to him. That's low.
So I feel more comfortable talking about it now that we know it's official. But I want to compliment John Coppolella for.
Oh, nice play. Siriaco. Spin and throw. Got it. Pretty play. 2 out.
For bringing Johnny Gomes to this ball club, knowing that it was going to be a young team and needing some veteran leadership, and he and A.J. Brzezinski, Nick Markakis, they've been through the wars. They've been successful. They know what it takes to win. But I just still feel like anything that could have been gleaned from Johnny Gomes by Freddie Freeman, Andrelton Simmons, and Christian Bethancourt, if they were smart to listen, it'll certainly benefit them down the road. And for Johnny, the reputation that he has created by the way he plays and the way he carries himself and the hard work, it continues to reward him.
Moylan couldn't get it. Siriaco did, but his throw to first is late. And Echeverria is aboard with 2 outs.
He did what he was supposed to do here. And I'm not going to say that there wasn't any more for him to do, because as the month of September goes on, there's going to be a lot of challenges for this ball club that everybody's got to be reminded about, how to carry themselves and how to get prepared for each day. But the reward for Johnny Gomes is that he did such a nice job here that the Braves chose to give him an opportunity to go somewhere and help somebody else.
And someone else wanted him. I mean,
yes.
you look at the numbers this year for Johnny Gomes. Numbers, okay? 223 average, 66 strikeouts, 193 at bats. Not eye-popping stuff. You'd agree with that, I think, right?
It's not about that.
Exactly. That was the point I was trying to make.
It's not about
It's
that
about
at all.
All the intangibles.
It's about the reputation that he's already created with so many different organizations as a winner, and a guy who wants to win, and a guy who plays hard, plays the game the right way. And now everybody in baseball knows that, and as a result, he got rewarded. And the Braves didn't have to move him. Again, I applaud John Hart and John Campolella for doing that. And I don't want to say did him a favor, but in a way they did. The Braves got a player back that hopefully will help the organization, but he earned that, in my opinion.
I agree with you. As Yelich hits with 2 outs. Yelich grounded out his first and only time up. I'll never forget when we saw the Reds and Marty Brennaman down in Cincinnati, or maybe it was here, I beg your pardon. And I was talking with Johnny Gomes, and Marty walked up, shook Johnny's hand. He was a Red for a long time. And Marty said, hey, man, wherever you go, you win. You're a winning player. And when a Hall of Famer says that to someone, you take notice of it. And
any place we went where we ran into people who had somehow been affiliated with Johnny Gomes on their team, whether it was a broadcaster, a scout, an ex-manager, whatever the case was, and they would say, how you like Gomes? And our answer was always positive.
Moylan just balked.
The answer was always positive. Then they would rave about what he meant to their ball club. So good luck to Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still in the locker room and whether he'll be waiting for the press or if he's already on his way to Kansas City. They'll be home, by the way, for their next ball game, I believe. The Royals tomorrow host Verlander and the Tigers at Kauffman Stadium. And now 3-1 to Yelich.
It's funny, he was just talking to me today about similar things about players who make a difference, and he said, look at that Kansas City ball club. He said that was a team that had all this great young talent, but they didn't know how to win until, and I don't know what he was going to say.
Bouncer up the middle. That's going to bring home another run. Christian Yelich with an RBI hit, and
he said, but they bring in Raul Ibanez, and he made a huge difference in their ball club.
So here we are again, 2 quick outs, and then trouble for the relief corps. A hit, a balk, and a single plates a 4th Miami run. 4-0 Marlins. They've scored 3 runs in their last 2 turns at the plate.
Proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years.
Fans of the Open Tehran bobblehead nights coming up September 10th when the Mets are in town. The first 20,000 guests here at Turner Field get a bobblehead featuring the Braves right-handed pitcher presented by Grady Hospital. Get your tickets online at Braves.com. Marlins 4, Braves nothing. Atlanta with just 3 hits tonight. And Ryan Kelly will try to get the final out of the 9th inning.
After the long work last night, or yesterday afternoon rather, of Jake Brigham, who took one for the team and for the bullpen, working long after he probably should have, but wanted to stay in and save some pitches for the guys. He was sent back today, and Ryan Kelly called back up.
D. Gordon is the Marlins hitter. And is 0 for 4. 2 quick outs. Then 2 quick hits. And now a fly ball to left. That will chase Swisher back, and he'll make the grab on the warning track. And that retires the side. Last call for Atlanta, down 4 now. If you're on the A-list, well, good for you. If not, become a 2016 A-list member today and get exclusive benefits customized for your unique needs. SunTrust Park seating priority is still being given to current A-list members. So become a member today to get closer to securing your seats for SunTrust Park in 2017. Go to Braves.com/A-list today.
This is A.J. Ramos, who has been their closer after he took over for Cishek early in the season. Steve Cishek had all kinds of problems, ultimately was traded to the Cardinals, but 23 out of 28 on the saves for Ramos. And this is not a safe situation, but he was already up ready to come in what would have been a safe situation, so they're going to use it.
Freddie Freeman will lead things off. Sharply hit, but right to the shortstop. Echeverria played that perfectly.
How does that happen? Time and again. I mean, it happened in the Yankees series. Seemed like there were like 3 ground balls, 3 sharply hit balls. Right had Stephen Drew. And look at this defensive alignment. Echeverria right where he needed to be.
That's another one of the things in baseball that's dramatically changed over the last couple of years. The emphasis on defensive shifts, defensive alignments. Not that it wasn't important 20 years ago, but it is so much more advanced now, it seems, than ever. Freeman hit it hard, but right to Echeverria for the first out. And here's Swisher.
but there's nowhere near. There were nowhere near the same number of graphs, intricate numbers that there are today on how often a guy would hit the other way. You're either pull hitter or you weren't. You know, you were off field hitter. You bunted or you didn't, and there wasn't a whole lot of moving around, major moves for anybody.
Well, Rene Latchman, a guy I really respect and like a lot in Major League Baseball, when he was on Don Baylor's staff, he used to carry around 2 gigantic notebooks of every player in the major leagues, every team that they would play at the time, and he'd get on the road trip with his black pen, blue pen, and red pen, and with a straight edge, go through the video of the game and make a line on the hitting chart for every time Joe Simpson hit a ball to shortstop, exactly where that ball went.
Yes,
manually done.
He did that. Actually started though, Chip, when he was with Tony La Russa with the A's, when Latch and Dave Duncan joined the La Russa staff in Oakland. That's when all that started, and you would see them up, you know, like on the deck of the dugout with their 3-ring binders going hitter to hitter and making marks. So yeah, they were among the first for me to see that intricate tracking.
So it would be a pull hitter, but it might be he's 2 steps pull, 3 steps, you know, that more detailed than just a generalization.
Well, or you'd say play him more in the hole between first and second. But nowadays, you know, we on our broadcast we've got the graphs of left, right, center, and what percentage the hitters hit to those particular parts of the ballpark. So it's very, very, very detailed.
Adonis is 0 for 3 tonight. 4-0 Marlins. 1 on, 1 out. And a ground ball towards short. Echeverria's got it. Flip to Gordon. Throw to first. And the Marlins have shut out the Braves tonight. 4-0 is your final score. Miami pulls to within a half game of the Braves, who are in 3rd place in the East. Miami 3 hits Atlanta tonight. 4-0 your final, and Shelby Miller's incredible bad luck continues.